Perfect. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Ginyu Talk. And in this episode, we have a very, very special episode for you guys. We have an absolute legend within the Dragon Ball community himself. Is Bruce Faulconer. Yeah, you heard it here. He is here at Ginyu Talk. And before we get into all of that good stuff, I have my main man, my co-host here, Kaio Tim times 10.
Times 10. Don't forget the times 10.
Never do. Anyways, so yeah, welcome, Bruce. Welcome, Bruce. How are you feeling? How's everything with you?
Thank you very much, and welcome to the Ginyu Talk network. I'm so happy to be here and talk to all you guys out there, and sure appreciate my Dragon Ball Z fans, and I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, perfect. I think so. Just getting straight into the thick of the action itself. Like when can you just let us know how, first of all, how was it for you being part of such a colossal project? I mean, I'm sure like when you actually got the call to be part of it, did you actually ever think it was going to be as big as it ended up being?
I was really surprised at how it grew. And I looked it up, and at the time, I asked my young son if he knew about it. He did. He was about 6, 7 at the time.
Yeah.
And then I looked at a couple of episodes and just really dove into it. It was, I discovered that it was quite a long arc of episodes, because there's 291, and I started at episode 68 and worked all the way through those in a period of about 4 or 5 years.
Wow. Yeah. Tim, you want to jump in?
Yeah, as you went through and you were watching it, doing little research on it before you even started, Kikuchi did the original scoring of it, and I was wondering, as you were listening to that score, did you feel like was there ever a point in time where you felt like you had to kind of not imitate but go into the same direction, or did you know from the get-go, I know exactly what sound I want to go for what they're presenting me?
It's more like you just said. The producers wanted to have something that was more of an American score, and I wanted to have a score that I felt followed the characters and the story, the dialogue, and I feel like in my approach to it, it was like doing a giant opera, and I wanted to tell the story that was there, what the visuals told, how they told the story, how the dialogue told the story, how the characters evolved, and all of that, and so plus all the action. I wanted to have the music choreographed to the action of the show. So I incorporated all of that into the creation of the music. I don't think the original music so much followed those kind of premises as I did. I think it's more of kind of here's some music behind this episode, but I never felt like it told any of the story. Same with the ocean music. I didn't feel like it told the story the same way. And I feel like that's what sets my music apart from the other music. Interestingly enough, it seems like these episodes that are being created now seem to be a little bit influenced from my music.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think, and then just, with the stuff that's being created now, at any point, had anyone ever even tempted to reach out to you for you to come back to any of the newer stuff?
Were you asking if they asked me to
yeah, like if they ever
more?
Yeah, so with the newer material that started coming out with, for example, like Dragon Ball Super, and Dragon Ball Diamond and everything else, at any point did anyone reach out to you about saying, "Hey, Bruce, would you want to come back and do something?"
That's kind of a long story, and the producers the creator had other plans, so that kind of thing never materialized.
Sure. Yeah. No,
So it
I
was kind of
understand.
like this 5-year period where we were doing an American soundtrack
Yeah. Yeah.
back in the
No.
day, and it just I think they were surprised at how popular it became and how much longevity it has. And so I'm really pleased with that and gratified by that popularity. And now a new generation is being shown the episodes that I participated in by their parents who were the original, which was their childhood. And so I think that's so awesome that now there's two generations that are watching it together, uh, which is just so gratifying for me.
Yeah, I've watched the series with my son. He's 8 years old, and I watch it with him. And even sometimes when we're in the car, I'll put on Perfect Cell's theme just to ride in the car to it. It's that's one of the ones that sticks out to me, and it actually had me wondering: are when people think of your score, they think of the intro, they think of the Perfect Cell and Vegeta themes, but are there any ones that people don't talk about that's more so your favorite, that sticks out more so to you, that you felt like you put your all into it, even though it might not have been like the biggest part of the whole score?
One of them's your namesake of your program. I really
Uh,
love the Ginyu transformation
okay.
piece. Um, I thought that was pretty awesome, and I think it's pretty popular too.
Yeah.
Not as popular as some of the others, but it's still maybe in the top 10 or 15. And of course, I love, and for a long time, I finally talked about it about 2 years ago at a Kamehacon. I showed how when I created the Dragonball Z theme, which was the da 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 da.
Yeah.
Later on, I used the second half of that uh, thing that I just sung as the theme for the SSJ Super Saiyan theme. So da 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 da
Uh,
da 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 da, and people never knew that.
You
Uh,
know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I did actually notice that when I was listening to some of the OST when I was working out yesterday, and it just so happened the intro and the SSJ was back to back, and I was like, it's the same.
yep. And so I just I showed all the how I took the part of the leitmotif of Goku's theme and then transformed it into this SSJ theme. And that was one of the things that I did, was all these leitmotifs for each of the characters. And so they could be in happy moods, bad, challenging, fighting, whatever. And the music used the theme of each of those in a new light, depending on what they were doing in that context. So kudos to noticing that.
Well, because that was going to be one of my questions originally. Because one of my favorite from the Kikuchi score is the Piccolo theme, and as you go through it, it starts off very slow and mopey. It's the same leitmotif, but then as it goes along and he gets younger, it kind of gets more upbeat and then kind of chaotic, and then it levels out to the theme that we love from Piccolo from that score. So when I was like, before I ask this, I have to make sure if he did or did not do that first, and then I started noticing it, and I really love those subtle moments, because it gives a sense of familiarity when there's a new scene that you understand. There's a connection, like you were saying at the very beginning. It goes with the story. There's a connection to the story that's being told. So I really do, I love that type of stuff in music and soundtracks and scores and things like that.
Another fun place at the very end in 291, when Goku's saying goodbye, I incorporated two themes. His original theme, which is the opening theme, and it was a happy moment. So instead of the minor key, I used a major key. Da 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 da. And so it was major instead of da 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 da. So it was da 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 da.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes me
And
want to go
at the
back and
same
re-listen
time,
to it all.
at the same
Me
time, I
too.
had the Earth theme because he was saying goodbye from Earth. So the ba da da da. So those are happening
Oh,
at the same time, interwoven together. So
That's interesting.
that was kind of
wow.
fun. So
This is-
it's just some of those compositional techniques that people enjoy the piece. They may not hear those techniques, but they just know that they liked the piece and it felt good,
Yeah.
which is okay too.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I agree, and it's like literally just getting all this behind the scenes kind of kind of wisdom that you're sharing. Everyone, it's like it's just really making us relive that inner childhood that we actually had when we were actually watching the series and just listening through that soundtrack because because with what happens now, it's like there's a lot of especially like with a lot of communities that me and Tim are part of with Ginyu Talk, there's a lot of people that rewatch the series, but yet, they really do constantly bring up yourself in terms of just saying like, oh, while they're watching the newer version, they always say, no, 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 actually go back and watch it with the original score, which is your one. And people that have actually done so have actually come back within that community and said, actually you're actually right, this is a much more much more complete of in terms of an experience wise, like musically itself, like how like what do you take from that when you just hear that the community still really still feel so strongly about you and in terms of the work that you've done?
I'm very pleased about it and very grateful and thankful that they enjoy and recognize all that hard work that I did to be the kind of composer and the concept that I had to unify such a long story arc, and make this massive musical series of symphonic poems that fit. And they're like operas too. When you put all the media together, you've got the visual, you've got the actors, the characters. I mean, the action, the scenes, and everything, and the music that fits it. It's like watching a Wagnerian opera. It was my hope when I started and finished it, and I just love the impact that it made. It was #1 on Cartoon Network for 3 or 4 years, and #1 on all cable. I think it was around 2003, with 6 market demographics in the people who measure that kind of thing on television. So that was all such a thrilling thing, and to have it recognized today, I'm just so happy and grateful for as well. I'm glad they play the shows and people can watch and experience it, and for many rewatch it and experience it with their children. It's just really cool.
Yeah, it's always, it might have been #1 for 3 or 4 years, but it'll always be #1 for me. It's always #1 in my heart right here. My heart of hearts is always going to be #1.
Thank you. Those
So
were the Nielsen ratings, by the way.
those are the ones that matter too, when you're getting the big numbers, right?
Yeah.
So what was there a favorite scene of yours when you were doing the score? I know I asked you before, like the least memorable one, but is there an actual scene that you remember seeing and you just got into like that flow state?
Oh, I don't know. There's so many. One just when you were asking, it popped in my head was I loved the scene where Genyu's trying to get Goku turned into the frog, throws the frog into the thing, but it makes Ginyu turn into the frog, and then this female frog comes along and falls in love with Ginyu, And
Yeah.
I quoted Wagner from Tristan and Isolde, the opening prelude to the opera. It's about doomed love, and so there's this theme da 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 that's historically, musically speaking, just like this iconic thing for the ages that music historians and music theorists talk about. But I used it in a context with some humor to have this failed love between a frog and Ginyu, which is never going to happen. And so it just was kind of like a fun moment for me musically and visually and storyline wise.
Yeah, I really like I said before with the leitmotifs and stuff, being it's something about music and seeing scenes like that, and you can hear the music convey the comedy or the seriousness or something like that. Like you used it, it's a serious piece, but you used it as like a piece of like satire almost for that scene. And
Yeah.
I really like I'm just always amazed whenever I listen to that score because there's a lot of things that I hear that I'm like, now I had to go back because it right now it is actually kind of hard for me to find the original run that has your score behind it. But
there's
when
an
I
orange
do,
DVD set.
oh, okay,
Is one of the most accessible. But then other places you just have to say use the American soundtrack. You have to go somewhere in the settings and say that. And then Hulu, I think, and some other Crunchyroll, I guess, is playing it.
I didn't know that.
I
Learn
didn't.
something
That's
new every day.
I
learn
actually
something new.
did. I didn't even know they actually provided that setting for you to
Yeah.
be able to actually select, which set of scores you'd actually want to use. That's actually really interesting. Thank you for that, Bruce. And then it's just like when you, in terms of all the scores that were done, what would you say was one that more or less maybe was the hardest one to get right, but once you did, it just was in line with the vision that you all had for it?
Gosh, that's a hard question to answer. But I typically would look at an episode and I chart everything that happens. I chart of course, it's a 22-minute, 30-second episode, and use time code. Back in the day, even use it now in production when you're doing even features and TV shows. And so if there was a cut, I would chart where the cut was. If there was a dialogue start and stop, I would chart where that was. I would describe the action in a scene. If there was a dissolve between one scene to another, I would chart the beginning and the end of that. If somebody was punching somebody in the scene, that punch, I would mark where that was in the time code. And then I would put this all together into a timeline and create tempos and measure numbers, beats, upbeats, triplets, 16th notes, whatever it was that was happening visually, audibly, and within a scene, the action, and I would create this choreography of musical potential, and that would help inspire themes and edit points and everything. And that's kind of why the music is sort of so ergonomically connected to what's happening visually, dialogue wise, and everything. And so that was the real challenge, was creating that each time, because that was so part of what was going to happen.
Okay, so it's just like a lot of tedious making sure you're on point to the millisecond just about with every little sound that you're putting in there, crafting it perfectly.
Pretty much. Think of it as at the time they were using 29.97 drop frame, which meant 30 frames per second. So those things were going along at 30 frames per second. So all these action details were happening within that parameter. And music is even more detailed because it's like within a second, there can be all kinds of 16th notes and 30-second notes and everything. So that choreography becomes very complex from a musical range. If somebody in the video world drops a frame, which is a 30th of a second, that can be a Grand Canyon of musical notation.
Yeah.
You could like wipe out a couple of 16th notes or part of a triplet. It just depends on the tempo and everything. So it just made everything synchronized to a more complete musical story for me.
Okay. Yeah, no, I totally get that, and I can see exactly what you're saying. Even that second dropout, you're losing a lot that's going on. But with saying that, and you put a lot of tedious stuff work into it, and you did pretty much the whole series for the most part, 230, almost 230 episodes worth.
68 to 291, whatever that is, 240.
Yeah,
I forget the math. I have to write it down. And
it's you might as well say the whole thing as far as So, but did everything that you make go into the final production, or is there stuff that got left out?
Pretty much. It would be a rare occasion where anything was left out. That there just wasn't enough time for that kind of luxury.
So were you doing it week by week, almost like the episode drops? Is that how you were doing it?
Yeah, there was a weekly kind of schedule. Started 9 to 10 months before broadcast, so it was just an endeavor that took up a lot of the year.
Okay.
For 5 years.
Okay.
And so you just sometimes you're writing out of inspiration from the visuals. Sometimes it's even terror from getting everything done in time. So it's like the inspiration comes from everywhere.
Yeah. I could imagine having a bad day and then a Vegeta scene come on. You're like, oh, I'm about to go off on this.
Yeah, and then just what I wanted to ask, I know I asked this before we actually started the actual interview itself. What I wanted to, I know you said you'd been writing some music itself. Just with that, has there been any within that music you've been writing, has there been any anime projects within that, or has it just been strictly non-anime work that you've now been doing?
There's a theme that you can listen to on Spotify and the other platforms that's an anime that's in production, and it's called High Voltage. And so that's one that everybody can listen to. There's also this year released a piano concerto that started from a commission from Kickstarter. I'm also on Patreon, by the way, under Bruce Faulconer. But Kickstarter started the piano concerto, and the first movement has elements of the sounds of my Dragonball Z sounds. And I released it in January, all three movements. I played the piano and the orchestra in this first performance. and it's called Piano Concerto Number 1. But like I said, the first movement has a ton of my favorite voices out of what I used for Dragon Ball Z. And
Wow.
I also have a jazz album that came out a few months ago called Whispers of Jazz. So
definitely will be looking into all of this, because I think, like I said, just speaking with you has, made me maybe hopefully along with Tim just want to re-listen to the whole American soundtrack just from start to finish, really try and listen to all these things that you told us, the little nuances that you added throughout certain scores itself. So it's like absolutely really exciting for that. And I think just to kind of just round it off, I know because I'm based in the UK here, and Tim's in America itself. I know you've got some UK fans here, such as myself and many other Dragon Ball fans here. Like, in terms of like coming out for like conventions or anything, is that something that you'd ever be interested in, coming out to the UK for like some Dragon Ball conventions, to kind of just mingle in with the UK fans, or is that something that's maybe out of mind now for you?
that's a possibility. And let me finish answering the earlier question. Another anime project that I did was a children's book series. I wrote about 20 songs for that. It was called A Little Spark.
Yep.
And so I did all these songs. They're attached to the book. Did an audio pair of audio books that used my music for those of the same book series. And anime conventions, I've gone to several over the years, and that might be a possibility in the future as well, even perhaps in the UK. Just have to see what could work out in a schedule. But also in the United States, I do those from time to time.
Perfect. Because I know, like I said, when I emailed you, I was like, I do have a friend who runs a convention, a couple of conventions. I know he was definitely be eager to have you here, because like he amongst us as well is a massive Dragon Ball fan. So just even us telling him that we were going to be speaking to you got him absolutely hyped up. But like I know we said, I think just to kind of round that off, I think we would like to obviously thank you, Bruce, for jumping on here with us to give us these little insights that very few people get to know, really, in terms of the actual work that was actually conducted on the American soundtrack for Dragon Ball Z itself. It's just, like I said, we are absolutely fantastic. We're absolutely grateful for the work that you've done. I don't know if Tim, do you have any final words that you want to say?
I just want to know, who's your favorite Dragon Ball character and why is it Goku?
Goku, and my second is Android 18.
Oh, this is the man of culture.
I love Meredith McCoy. She did such a fabulous job. And one of my CD soundtracks I wrote with her, we did lyrics and I wrote the music for, and the album's called Android 18. It's one of the 9 CD soundtracks that are still available on from our website at cakemixrecordingstudio.com.
Okay.
And so all the CDs, all 9 CD soundtracks are available there on our web store. But I always wanted to do a 12-tone piece that incorporated terms of rock, elements of rock. And so I made this techno piece that's 12-tone row, and Meredith performed and did the singing. And she's a fabulous singer, just so outstanding. Okay. And that was a blast recording that with her and writing it with her, where she did the lyrics and I did the music part. And so I don't know if you've heard the that piece. It's
No, like I said, you're literally putting us on some really new some new stuff for us to look at. So it's like we will definitely be looking into it. So
Giving
I'm
us
sure you'll
homework.
probably. Yeah, I'm sure you'll probably get an email from you saying, Bruce, we've listened to this. This was you're absolutely you're absolutely right. This is absolutely fantastic. But I think, I think with that said, I think, like, again, Bruce, we'd like to thank you for joining us here on Ginyu Talk to
Yes,
talk
sir.
some Dragon Ball with us and all the work that you did for Dragon Ball itself. Like I said, thank you so much for everything. I think just before we let you go, where can people find you if they want to just either just get in touch or just get any type of information from you in terms of, like, as you said, you got a Patreon and anything else that you want to just share for people to find you?
so Patreon / Bruce Faulconer is one place, and then my Bruce at Faulconer.com is my stand by at Faulconer Productions .com is my music site for my music. Faulconerproductions.com with my weird spelling. And then CakeMixRecordingStudio.com is my recording studio that you can see where we work and do all of our recording of my music, and then other people can come and record their projects at Cake Mix Recording Studio. And those places are mainly, and then I'm on Instagram as well, and Twitter.
Excellent. But again, thank you so much, Bruce, again, for joining us. I think, as you guys said, we've had Bruce Faulconer here on Ginyu Talk. What a massive surprise that was for everybody, and I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation that we had with him. So until then, guys, we will see you guys in the next one.
Thank you very much, guys.
Peace.